Hey guys, welcome back to the BlockHash Podcast, episode 257, second episode from this morning. Today we have on Ruadhan. He is the lead dev for seasonal tokens, a really interesting project. Very excited to kind of dive into the details on this. Ruadhan, how are you doing today? Welcome.
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me here.
Pleasure to have you on. Before we jump in and talk about that and get a bit more specific, tell me and the audience a bit more about yourself. Give them a bit of an idea of who you are. How did you start off? How did you get into this space? Was there like a single moment of clarity or an epiphany where you wanted to work in blockchain? Give us some background details.
Okay, so I worked in physics, neuroscience, finance, and cryptography. Basically, I had an interest in all things related to cryptography and obviously in finance as well. So cryptocurrency is something that I'm naturally going to get interested in. And I started investing in Bitcoin back in 2011. So I was watching the Bitcoin price thinking, can I quit my job yet? Every day for quite a long time. And basically, after 2016, I left finance and decided that I was going to go and look at building cryptocurrencies and try to go into that direction. So it's basically a few years after that, maybe 2019, that I had the idea for seasonal tokens. And so I figured out how to implement it, how to actually achieve it, because it's not an easy thing to do, especially if the previous experience that you have is all with Bitcoin. So I started that in 2019 and then started planning it out, writing the code and trying to write tests and trying to see with simulations what could be done and if it's really possible to control the prices this way. And basically it took a number of years and here we are today.
Nice. Was Bitcoin your first experience interfacing with this industry or was it something else?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what, in terms of what you do now and your experience and your background, made you want to get into the token side of it and into what you're doing now with seasonal tokens? It's very interesting. It's very new. It's very, I think, revolutionary in terms of how to look at the value of a token. What was your pathway there?
So I didn't actually want to do it as tokens originally. What I wanted to do was I wanted to make another copy of Bitcoin that had its halvings occurring at a staggered interval. Basically, so once every 4 years, the price of Bitcoin starts to rise in response to the halving. So the rate of production of Bitcoin gets cut in half, and then the market has to adjust to that, and the price rises as the market adjusts. But it rises like that once every 4 years. And so after it's reached its peak, then Bitcoin has tended not to be a good investment. It's gone up and then it reaches a peak and then goes down. So even in 2019, I was thinking that in 2022 and 2023, I was going to be losing a lot of money because the price of Bitcoin was going to go down. And it's done that several times, and it's done it again this year. So basically, I was seeing this pattern, and I was anticipating this and thinking, how do I escape from this? How do I keep? What I want to do is I want an investment that goes up like Bitcoin, but doesn't go down again. It goes up and then goes up again. So the way to achieve that would be to have another version of Bitcoin, which is just a clone, but is offset by a year, so that when the actual Bitcoin price goes and reaches its peak, then the new coin's price would just be starting to rise. And so you could transfer your investment from one of these to the other. So that was basically the inspiration for the project. It was just me trying to escape from a bear market, basically. And but I tried to do it with Bitcoin. But the problem is that when you're using the Bitcoin code, it's 40,000 lines of code. It's incredibly complicated. And if you wanted to actually make a coin like this, which was like a clone of Bitcoin, there's no way to make it have a $500 billion market cap, which is what it would need in order to be used for this purpose. Because Bitcoin is like obviously huge, and if I was to start a new coin, it would start off with a market cap of 0 and would have to gradually grow. So what I did was I looked around for alternative ways to do it, and I realized that smart contracts allow you to make tokens very, very easily. And what I just needed then was a way to combine proof of work mining with smart contracts. And it turns out that in 2018, OX Bitcoin came into existence. It was the first mineable token. And so basically, I was able to take the innovations that had been developed in OX Bitcoin and use those and very quickly make 4 tokens that were mineable using proof of work. And it was only a few hundred lines of code to do that, compared to the 40,000 lines of code I would have had to deal with if I was making a clone of Bitcoin. So that was basically how I got to the current situation.
Got it. Let's look at seasonal tokens more specifically. How does the value shift for those tokens? And I know they shift on a seasonal basis, but how is that baked into how they function?
Right. So it's proof of work mining. They have a cost of production. And if you wanted to produce a winter token, it's going to cost a certain amount of energy or electricity, and you're going to have to pay for that. So there's basically a cost of production for winter and for spring and for summer and autumn. And they're different costs of production. So it costs more to make a winter token than it does to make an autumn token or a summer token. And so because it costs more, that means that it's basically more expensive to buy, because they're produced. Winter tokens are produced. Well, they up until recently, winter tokens were produced at the slowest rate of the 4. But what's happened on the 5th of June was that the season changed and the rate of production of spring tokens was cut in half. So there used to be 168 spring tokens produced every 10 minutes. Now that's dropped down to 84. So what's happening now is that there's an accumulating scarcity of spring tokens in comparison to what the market has been used to for the last 9 months. And so as the market adjusts to this lower rate of production of spring tokens, we can expect the price of spring tokens to rise. And I chose an interval of 9 months between the halvings of the different tokens, because I was watching the Bitcoin price and seeing how long does it take to respond when the rate of production is cut in half. And it seems that there's about a year after the halving when the price goes up and then reaches a peak. So what I want overlapping periods of these bull markets, so that you can switch from one token to the next and try to always stay in a bull market. So that's basically how the seasonality of it works. And we can expect probably towards the end of the year to see the price of spring rising above the price of other tokens.
Nice. Is this more of a experimental type of deal to see how this kind of functions in the token space, or is this an effort to create something that's more profitable?
So it was envisioned as an investment, and it's intended to be an investment. I'm investing in it. So I did a lot of simulations. I did a lot of analysis, and I did things as carefully as I could to try to be sure that this was going to work. And it has been working so far. If you look at the relative prices of the tokens, they've been pretty stable for the last 9 months, with winter being the most expensive and spring being the cheapest. There are fluctuations in the price, but they tend to return to their theoretical values. So with winter being about 1.6, worth about 1.6 spring tokens. So sorry, can you remind me of the question again?
Yeah. I was asking if it was done mostly experimental to see how this function could be built into tokens in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's something inevitably that has to be an experiment about it, because it's never been done before. So in a certain sense, we're waiting to see what happens. But I've tried to make it as guaranteed as possible that it's going to work out this way. So when the rate of production of something is cut in half instantly and permanently, it's very hard to imagine that the market isn't going to respond to that. So essentially, I've tried to produce as much certainty as I can while still launching something that's basically an experiment, because it's being done for the first time.
Is there any concern that this could be something that's gameable or manipulated, given the fact that it is very predictable? There's benefits to that, but the drawbacks is that if there's a bad actor, maybe they'll want to take advantage of that predictability. Have you guys thought about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So in a sense, the idea of the project is to invite bad actors to do this. They're not specifically bad actors in the sense that the purpose of the project is to allow investors to anticipate the changes in price and to profit from that. So the question is then, if you have a malicious person, can they defraud other investors? Can they do things that cause other people to lose money and for them to make a profit? And there's a way to be safe from that kind of thing, which is if you use the rule, always trade tokens for more tokens of a different type. So if you have winter tokens and you trade them for spring, then you might get 60% more tokens. So the number of tokens in the investment will go up whenever you trade more expensive tokens for the cheaper ones. So the idea is that you can have a portfolio of tokens, and you can guarantee that the total number of tokens in the investment will go up with every trade and will never go down. So because you have that system to kind of guarantee that you're not going to make a loss measured in tokens, that means that there's a limit to, well, there's basically no way that a malicious actor can force you to end up with fewer tokens than you started with. Because as long as you stick to this rule, always trade tokens for more tokens, then the number of tokens you have will keep going up. But of course, if you start speculating, if you decide that you're going to trade tokens for less tokens just on this one occasion, then you're taking a risk and you might end up with less tokens overall. So it's not, it's optional. People who want to be safe can just stick to the rule, trade tokens for more tokens, and then they're protected from market manipulation and from these other effects.
Is it possible for maybe a large group of people or investors to break that trend? Like, let's say there's like a GameFi, sorry. God, what was the company called? During the Wall Street bets. Dilemma.
Oh, GameStop.
I apologize. Right. GameStop.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's it.
I'm thinking of different gaming companies in the space. With what happened with GameStop, so many people piled on in the retail sector that it kind of broke all the metrics and just, rocketed the price up. And it, was fairly sustainable for a while. Is it possible for like a wave of retail investors or people to maybe do something similar in seasonal tokens where they say, okay, we're all going to buy summer token, we're going to hold summer token, and we're going to break it so that when fall token, that season rolls out, that doesn't actually happen. It's just nothing but summer token. Like, is it possible to like break the cycle?
It's theoretically possible to do that, but it's very expensive, and the benefit that you get from it is you don't really get basically a benefit from it. You can do it if you want. If somebody wanted to, they could take summer tokens and make them the most expensive, but they would have to keep buying them every day. And the problem with that is that they're being produced by mining, and they're cheaper to produce. At the moment, summer is the cheapest token to produce. Or at least it's produced at the fastest rate. It's the easiest token for miners to produce. So if somebody wants to keep summer tokens as the most expensive token, they have to come to the market and buy the tokens that miners are producing every day, because the miners are able to produce them more cheaply than the other tokens, and they're going to sell them more cheaply than the other tokens. So if you want to manipulate the price of summer higher, you have to oppose those miners. You have to come in and buy the new tokens that they're selling every single day, because you're trying to prevent them from pushing the price to its natural value. So you could do that, but it's going to be very expensive, and it would be cheaper just to buy those summer tokens at the normal price. If you insist on paying more for them than you need to, then you're obviously spending more money, and it's less efficient for you. But it is possible to do these kind of manipulations, but it's not profitable.
Cool. Have another question for you. So have you guys thought, knowing that this works now, have you thought even further outside the box? Like, if you can do a seasonal token, why couldn't you do like a holiday token or a zodiac token or something that's also cyclical, but even more unique? Have you guys explored other options?
I've thought about them. So when I was coming up with the idea, originally I was thinking I'm just going to have a clone of Bitcoin, so it's just going to be one new coin. And then I realized, okay, no, it's better to have multiple overlapping ones. So I looked at what is basically the simplest system that's going to give you these overlapping bull markets. And so basically it seemed like 4 tokens with 9 months between the halvings was going to be good for that. It's going to have a 3-year cycle and basically 4 tokens. But yes, you could use 12. You could have a zodiac. It would be more work, I guess, to set up a system like that. And if you wanted to get, if you had 12 coin or 12 tokens and you wanted to get them listed on an exchange, you may have to pay 12 times the listing fees that you would for a single token. And so it could be difficult and expensive to manage, but that's so 4 seemed to be good, and it seems to be quite doable.
Nice. So with seasonal token, how are you guys looking to grow more awareness and adoption for this project, and what's next for it? How do you see this evolving and growing?
Right. So we're doing a couple of things. We're producing videos. We have explainer videos. We're writing press releases, and we're having explainer articles in places like Cointelegraph and Benzinga and other websites. And what we're also doing is we're expanding to new exchanges. So we're listed on coinstore.com and coinsbit.io right now. Those are the 2 centralized exchanges. And we're also we started out with the tokens just on Uniswap. But on the Ethereum network, what we've done just recently is we've made a bridge to Polygon, and that's going to be important because on Ethereum there are high gas fees, and on Polygon the cost of transactions is very close to 0. So this is good because if you're trying to follow this rule of trade tokens for more tokens, then the idea is that the number of tokens in the investment will go up every time you do that. But if you're paying gas fees, then you may still make a loss overall because the cost of the gas could basically undo the profit that you make from the increase in the tokens. So making the bridge to Polygon and allowing people to trade basically frictionlessly on Polygon. The fee for trading on Uniswap on Polygon for the token, what a trading pairs that we set up is 0.01%. So you have almost no gas fees and almost no trading fees. And this means that you can trade tokens for more tokens and you don't have to worry about making a loss because of the trading costs. So the other thing that we can do now that we have the bridge to Polygon is we can have an airdrop on Polygon, and we can give large numbers of people small numbers of tokens. So that means that they're going to be able to try out the system. They can start with a few dollars worth of tokens, and then they can trade them for more tokens over time and increase the value of their investment over time. So we're going to be able to allow large numbers of people to do that, and we can do that with all the tokens that have been mined. We have millions of tokens that have been mined, so we can give away 100,000 tokens of each type in an airdrop to thousands of people, and basically then we'll have a whole community of people who are able to make small trades and able to basically use the system. At the moment, it's because we haven't really got the entire Polygon interface set up yet. At the moment, we're doing all the trading is not all the trading. A lot of the trading is happening on Ethereum, and that means there are gas costs. So that means the trades have to be large in order for them to be worthwhile, which means that we don't have small investors basically participating.
Got it. Where can people go to get more information? What's the website, social media? I'm sure people are going to want to consume a bit more detail on this.
Absolutely, yeah. So they can go to the website. It's seasonaltokens.org. And if they want to get involved, if they want to talk to the team, and if they want to get if they have questions and want to participate, they can join our Discord. There's a link to the Discord on the top of the website. And they can also look at our Twitter account. That's it's seasonal_tokens on Twitter. And there they can see basically the announcements of the events and the videos that we release. And whenever we produce new articles, we'll post links there. And they're basically just general, normal Twitter chit chat and commentary about the market and so on that you can find there. So yeah, and they can also they could go to our Reddit. We've got it's Seasonal Tokens on Reddit, and it's also the channel Seasonal Tokens on YouTube. They can look at the videos that we've put up there.
Awesome. What about you? Can people find you online?
They can find me on Discord if they want to talk. I'm Ruadhan. I'm on the Seasonal Tokens Discord channel, and yeah, if they want to talk to me, they can turn up and just send me a DM, or they can participate in the general chat on the Discord server, or if they're mining, they can talk in the miners chat, and there's a room for farmers as well. So.
Awesome. Guys, go check out Seasonal Tokens. Learn more about it. It's a very fun project. Also go down and like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to follow Ruadhan wherever he is at and ask him questions about this. And Ruadhan, thank you for taking time to explain in more detail on the show what you guys are doing. I think it's really interesting. It's definitely a new take that I haven't seen in the space yet. Very predictable in some ways, but at the same time, very cool. And I think there's a lot of potential applications for what you're doing, maybe in some other projects at some point, maybe that you guys want to roll out, or that, might just, catch fire at some point if it gets popular. So very cool stuff. Really appreciate the time, man.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
Anytime. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. Talk soon.
Thank you. You too.